everybody, and welcome to another round of the Azure Dreams Rock Me to the Top Random Toolkit Tournament. I'm Lady May. I've gotten the runners counted down, and soon they will be off to the races. For those of you unfamiliar with this format, this is a best of 3, 1 hour time limit per round, to climb as far as they can, as fast as they can, up a giant monster tower full of traps and things that want to kill them. They will be starting off with a setup of random items. One random starting familiar of a random element with its spell unlocked, to prevent the sadism. Or to limit the sadism, I guess. Technically, there's nothing ever preventing that. Add a random spell ball. It looks like we've got a U-boat. That's that's what I've been wanting to see. It's got a unique mixture magic, but they'll probably not be using it for that. They'll probably be using it for its ability to instantly scout out a floor, or for a hefty MP cost that they don't always have to have all of, as long as the U-boat has one. So, that star glass is for as long as they can find herbs and seeds, basically. Unless the monster... Ooh, wind, that's a little bit weird. Unless the monster in the egg is completely useless, the U-boat probably will not be used as a main familiar. Okay, that's an egg that's not instantly useless. Sad face. I really want to see U-boat get used for things other than its endless capacity to scout, or nearly endless capacity to scout. Anyway, they have started off with a pretty good wand. I would say, your second tier of wands there. A wooden shield, which is bad. A water spell ball, which is good for the U-boat, but not much else. Its functionality. There's also a barong on the first floor. Yeah, Saber's a tricksy one. It's a pretty good monster, I will say. But also, can be trouble. Looks like we'll be seeing Plushie going for the barong, which makes a lot of sense given the inventory is not great to start off with, I would say. Wand's good. Rest isn't. Oh, that's a stream wand. That'll be very handy. I think. I'm actually trying to remember what D-Wall translates to. I think it might be a bit of a mixed bag with that particular starting spell. But I can probably look it up real quick. It's one that I don't see often enough. Yeah, okay, this is the blade mixture magic, which does mean that stream wand isn't going to be getting its full capacity for the most part. It's a weird thing. It's a 2-hit one, and it calculates it a little funky. So it looks like we will be seeing them use their items, but not great. Yeah, Plushie keeping the treasure loop is a fun one, I would say. It's very handy on these first couple of floors while they'll be pretty free with exploring, and it'll save the U-boat just a tiny bit of MP. That'll give them at least one free round with the U-boat, so, that's good. Particularly when you're going to be exploring all the floors anyway, you might as well. I'll save the U-boat for when you want to quickly identify where the exit is. Thinking about it, although they do have that wand, I rather suspect that with the blade mixture magic, they'll probably probably prefer the Paralyze Wand. And that effect will still be in effect even when the damage calculations aren't entirely taking the boost from the Stream Wand's same type attack bonus into account. The Blade Mixture magic is always the weird one to me. I mean, compared to the ones that are actually weird, not as much. But it's always like, I never quite remember how it works half the time. Because it works just close enough to your standard, which is the Sword Mixture magic, but not quite close enough. Ooh! Nice seeing that one get in a little bit of work. Eric on Plushie's side. So these first couple of floors will be pretty easy going. And it looks like they will be having a time of it, really. Saber is a strong monster. It's an evolved monster. If it has one major weakness, I would say it is the fact that it can't be lifted. That, and I just don't like Blade Mixer magic that much. It's alright, but you know. It takes a long time, especially the water one, because the water elemental thing always takes forever on these element thing, and that is underrated. Ooh, leather shield. Reven's putting that on immediately. That is certainly better than the shield they started with. It has roughly the same defense bonus, but comes with a dodge chance. Everyone loves a dodge chance. Let's see. Oof. Reven, I think, having a bit of time trying to decide what to do with the troll or how to maneuver to position the troll where he wanted to for that damage. You're used to a monster you can kind of pick up. Yeah, because that is one of Kuhn's better qualities. The ability to be picked up. This sounds like the most faint praise I could conceivably give. One thing that's worth noting about those anti-chaos herbs Reven has decided to keep along and stock up on, each of those is worth at least one free search off the U-boat. That's gotta feel good, and oh, this is a little bit of a sitch. This is a tiny bit of a situation. It's going to take a while to take out that clown, or that cyclone because of its element, but also that flame is right there, and it's oh, we're gonna see the Saber's break wall ability. That's cool. Fun. That deals what, 1.5 damage, I want to say? On the multiplier, though, I could just be making up this number. It's a little pricey, but not so pricey that you can't occasionally use it to get out of bad spots, which makes it a fun ability. I mean, if you have to rate monsters' abilities, and their unevolved form, Snowman, and let's talk about how those things are connected. They're not. They're not remotely connected. I don't know the logic here. Are we meant to be reading Saber as some sort of abominable snowman? Is that what we're going for, like a Yeti thing? It's not much like a Yeti, but okay. Okay, game. Oh, same, because, like, while there are some monsters that are not terribly on point with their names and themings. I'm looking at you, Unicorn, specifically. How dare you disappoint me? A lot of them are really solid. Like the way griffins protect you from pickets because griffins are guarders of treasure. Or that sort of thing brings a smile to my face, and it's a shame when we don't see it work out that way. Also, Plushie hitting the poison, that is the real slow trap. A slow trap for only you. Oh, and Plushie is down! That's round 1! Oof, that's real unfortunate. Just bad trap luck. I will, let Reven know. That happens sometimes. Azure Dreams, when it does not give you a break, is tricky. Sometimes the tower says no, sometimes you just do not get the luck you need to make things work out. Oh, the poison followed up by the slam trap was really all it took because Ko is very fragile. He is the weakest thing in the tower, so this game can sometimes just deny you. Any entry, the tower can say no, and that is why it is the true opponent in all of these matches. There is nothing you can do. Sometimes. Or sometimes there technically was something you could do if you had known that it was what you needed to do, which is, I suppose, DamagedPlushie's situation there. Yes, there were ways around that. The medicinal herb could have restored the HP. Just standing around could have restored the HP. But if you don't know it's what you need, then it might as well not exist, in a way. Hey, and that one in... What chance of it is for a trap not to work? This is the sort of fine-tuned number stuff that always escapes me. Either way, point is, even in that exact situation, if the RNG had been just slightly different, maybe it could have all been different. We will never know. Sucks. We'll get them set up for round 2. But that sort of brevity is, of course, also why this is a best of 3. We know the tower is like this. He's plus will be reloading because accidentally pressed one button, pressed too far, skip past the seed screen. While we are waiting, chat, what do you want to see? To see out of the starting equipment, the starting familiars. Someone's gonna say killer. I just know it. No one really wants to see the creepy angel stuff. Luckily, this is the less creepy angel, as opposed to the more creepy Japanese angel, which I am sure someone will dig up to put in the community if you want to check that out. This one has the weird advantage of being in a completely different art style from everything else, which is a little unsettling. But the one that matches everything else's art style is worse. Anyway, I'm hoping Plushie can sort of recover from, like, the nerves of having something go that wrong that fast in a race. It is an underrated Azure Dream skill, the ability to pick yourself back up after the tower has gone, no. On a floor count that an experienced runner might occasionally find less than ideal. Unpleasant. But remember, it's always you against the tower, and the ability to pick yourself back up is a strength, and I think it's one that we'll see on Plushie's side going forward. But also, like, even when it goes badly, it can never go as badly as a four-way race I was once a part of, where 3 of 4 runners, in fact, the only 3 that were playing in sync with the other 2, or playing at the same time, let's word that in a way that makes sense. Died on floor 2. Ew. Which was hilariously funny. Sometimes you just have to laugh. They will be getting off for round 2, and someone's gonna say they're hoping for a killer, I imagine, or if they aren't, I'm going to say it on their behalf, pretending that they're there. I'm gonna say, let me open my little notebook onto a random page. Mandara! I'm very sorry I have cursed you with this, Swish Runners. I mean, I guess it's not terrible, Mandara. It's got a solid mixture magic. It's got, like, your basic mixture magic. But it's probably not anyone's favorite, and that's saying something. And it is a glacier. Oh man. I want to know let me think about what spell that has. Because that could make the end game really scary. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen the frog portrait be the one used on entry. Wind Glacier, huh? That's... That is a green piece of rock candy, that's what that is. Lime-flavored rock candy, maybe? Oh, Holy Sword! That is going to be a great aid in the early game. Reven's going to be hatching that egg. Makes sense. Even if the glacier is pretty much suitable for, regular play. You never know what could be in that egg. And it's just a dreamin'. Ooh, that can't even be used to get the glacier onto a different element. That's a little bit sad. Now, I think with this setup, I would... Yeah, actually, with these items, I might consider the Barong, but I could also consider not the Barong. That Holy Sword is going to get them through a lot of the early tower. Ooh, a Blaze and a Pillar Ball. That's some nice stuff. Holy Sword also comes with an accuracy boost, which is a thing they don't tell you. we see both of them sort of delaying a little bit on. Oh yeah, this is a fun. It's bloom strats. Well, okay, it's wind bloom strats to be specific. The mixture magic that a wind glacier would have equipped paralyzes enemies, which is very convenient. It'll give you an easy lift on any enemies you can lift, and that Holy Sword will be able to put in a lot of extra work if any difficult enemies can just be not a problem. Ooh, and the accuracy boost of the Holy Sword, now that I think about it, very nice. Very nice to pair with that one, where the only danger is if you miss. Yeah, we're seeing Reven use a lot of that command mixture magic, paralyze something, then just whack it with the Holy Sword. For anything more formidable than, like, a single flame. Which on these floors is mostly just Cyclone. Now, if I were these runners, what would I be looking for at this stage? Well, I'd probably be looking for some, like, one-shot problem fixers. Holy Bells, Holy Scrolls. Those would go great with the Holy Sword, you'd have Matt said, now that I think about it. Oleans. Anything that can just sort of take a problem and make it go away. Like that! Thank you, Reven, for handily displaying exactly what I mean. And that ice shield is coming in pretty nice on these floors, where your biggest threats are mostly fire, except for cyclones particularly. While the blade mixture magic isn't super relevant for its damage capacity on the next couple of floors, or those sort of water-heavy floors, the fact remains that being able to paralyze and therefore just chuck away U-boats, really nice. While this seed isn't perfect, it's being pretty generous so far. It'll be interesting to see how it develops as things go on. I'm also wondering if they're in particular saving the Shomaru seed for something, or if they're just not thinking about it and they'll just hold on to it until such time as their inventory starts getting really full. Which looks like it'll be fairly close. This particular setup, a wind monster whose wind elemental Well, damage isn't the big thing about them, paired with a strong sword makes me wonder how this will change how the runners approach floor 6 in particular, but also 7 and to an extent 8. Even paralyzed, I don't want that many U-boats hanging around me, and there is the matter of going fast. So we'll see, because the traditional sort of Cune-based method of climbing assumes you'll be going home around this point, and therefore the runners need to spend as little time here as possible. But this is a pretty open situation. Also, I'm gonna point out the acid rain ball that Reven picked up. Geez, this seed is nice about spell balls. Now, what one would really want out of some spell balls would be maybe a blinder, I'd say. Things for when paralysis isn't quite cutting it. Looks like Reven gave a thought to exploring more before deciding, nah, let's keep going fast. As this is a race after all. That's not bad at all. Looks like Reven has decided to do a little bit of inventory management, including getting rid of the Dreamin'. The Dreamin' is over. What happens to a Dreamin' deferred? Ooh, that leather shield could be pretty nice. Nice, particularly if it's not cursed. And it isn't, so that's all very well and good. But if I were Reven, I'd feel really satisfied with his equipment setup for a while yet. That is a weird format for this floor to have, and also, wow, that's a lot of mana weavers. The good news is they're pretty stupid, so if he can lose them by even a fairly slim margin, he'll be good. As we see, it just forgets he ever existed. Poison is really not the spell ball one would want, but on the other hand, he has all the spell balls he could ever want, basically. I wonder at what point he will decide to stop saving that. Is he saving that for an egg? You know what? That's probably what I would be doing, at least at this stage. But later I would probably end up compromising on that if I found other good inventory items. Ooh, seeing Plushie use the treasure loop to get a sense of the floor's layout. That's a little fun strategy. For if you want to explore but you don't want to take the time, it's a fairly good item for that regard. funny that that is the exact place Reven decided to use the Shomaru seed as well for the inventory space. But that is a bouquet of blooms up on DamagedPlushie's side, and ooh, this is not the way I would handle that, because the bloom... No, wait, the bloom still had a little ways to go. Never mind, ignore what I'm saying. Ying. I was having a moment of confused perspective, because her mini-map is too small for me to see. Really, nothing so far has given them any trouble, so I think this is gonna be a nice, long little race here. Oof, that is a room. Luckily, everything's still asleep, so Reven shouldn't have that much trouble dealing with all of it. Now, what I think I would do... that'll also work out fine. I think in the same position, I probably would have gone for a pickup, and I probably would have been mistaken. I think we're seeing Reven deal a lot more direct damage with the Glacier now. Probably because... Only because, well, number one, it ought to pull its keep when it's not doing paralysis strats. And number two, Ko is still the weakest thing in the tower. The Holy Sword might be a great sword, but it's still attached to his noodly little arms. You know what? Curling strats that you control sound really fun, now that I think about it. You see, the folks at home who don't know, what Glacier has as its unique capability is it can put out a little ball of ice, and it can kick the ball of ice, and therefore knock anything on the other side of it out. And here we see Reven ultimately deciding that, you know what, just say no to U-boats. They will want to get the hit in on you whenever possible, and it looks like Reven's just kind of letting the U-boats, the Glacier, soak up that damage and dish out those attacks. Ooh, Plushie actually using the truth glasses to see that is a lot of uses on that pillar ball. That'll be nice. Now, I think they probably want to be on these floors that Reven has just walked onto for as short a time as possible. Well, those fire monsters would be real rough on that Wind Glacier. And, you know, not less rough on Reven himself. So this kind of does mark one of the key differences between a run like this and a Cume run, your vanilla Azure Dreams any percent with a familiar strat. Because these would normally be the floors where you stop sprinting, you rebuild your inventory a little bit, and you take a break. Not a time break, this is a race and or a run, depending on what you're dealing with. But a break from madly sprinting up the tower for the elevator the first thing you see. Oh, that's bad. That's real unpleasant. And that is something fairly nasty on Plushie's side. That's being warped right into the room with the U-boat. While there was, I'm pretty sure, another U-boat right on her glacier's tail. I like this approach of the ice rock ball to buy time to get away out of that situation. And the glacier has gotten into a fight with something or another. Looks like a U-boat. Looks like if there's nothing else, the glacier will be okay. But it needs to get just a little bit closer. And, where has it gone? When did Plushie switch its AI? When did Plushie switch its AI? Right, this is a fairly bad circumstance. This is even worse. Yikes. The tower is just not being nice to Plushie with these traps today. This would be a time when I would recommend, like, an Olim. Because Plushie has one. And that would be very useful in this specific circumstance. But this is at least a way out of this particular U-boat for like a minute. Now she just has to find that glacier before anything else happens to it. Like, say this. Luckily, it has gotten a bit of HP back. Back just from time having passed. But in the meanwhile, Reven has expanded his floor lead by, what is this, about 5 into about 5 floors. That's a fair number. And it's particularly out through the least pleasant areas, but I think we're also seeing Reven increasingly decide that fighting is not worth it. Oh, are we seeing curling? Yeah. This was for all of you, chat. And Septic in particular for wanting it. That was very fun. I liked that. But also, wow, look at how little damage that's doing. Yeah, this is the downside of the Orlando Bloom School, well, of strats, is that eventually you're just really creating that paralysis less to deal damage, or to even to create space in which to deal damage, and more just to get things that you can throw out of your way. And yeah, that's exactly what you should use an Oleem fruit for, is a Kraken in particular. Yeah, there is the elemental disadvantage thing to this as well. I'd say that he probably could fight some of the mules and krakens at the very least. And oh, there is a barong. It is casino time, everybody. To make up for all the casino time we didn't get at the start of the race. And also to avoid having to directly fight the barongs. They hurt surprisingly hard. I honestly would have probably checked at least if that was a mirror shield. Because you know it's not cursed, and that would mean you could just decide what you want to do with any given item, any given monster or floor. But that's just me. This mana weavers are so stupid. I am in awe. Oh, huh. He ditched the sword. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder whether or not the Holy Sword's accuracy is better than just your hands. I know for a normal sword, it's better than just your hands is better than that. But I don't know about this specific instance. Also, yeah, you need a little bit more distance. Weaponless is always better? Okay, that makes sense. It does mean that there is no more direct fighting things, though. Which is both an advantage, in that it can sometimes be faster, and a disadvantage, because it means that problems can pile up. And once you're out of areas where you have enemies that you can lift, things can get pretty dicey, and man, mana weavers are stupid. Oh, more casinoing. Oh, that is a surprisingly good item, is what I would call that. Oof. That'll sting on a wind monster. There are bomb traps, and for that matter, their last match's friend, the slam trap. Our fire elemental. Just in case things needed to be worse somehow. Oof. Bow trolls. I hate them. And Reven is caught trying to figure out what exactly the plan is here. Step 1 of the plan, paralyze and therefore ditch the bow troll. But also, yeesh. Maybe it's just because I'm used to queuing with the elemental advantage, but that does feel like it's taking forever to dispatch those pickets. So, this is quite the unfortunate little pile-up on Plushie's side, and oh, this is bad. That Kraken did not stay down long enough. Yeah, Olim is a very good approach. Yeah, I think the Glacier can survive an attack. From the volcano, and now, this is where I would have gone for the pickup. Because, yeah, that volcano is still right there, and it does not have a lot of time. If something... Ooh, this is maybe the end of that glacier. Okay, managed to get out of there with glacier intact. That is... Oof. That was a case where just going for the pickup and throw while one of those volcanoes was paralyzed would have made a huge difference in how dicey that situation could have gone. Oof. That is, I think, one of the items Reven would least like stolen by a random ticket. And that's another one. Reven not having a good time in the bank with the bank robbers here. And that wasn't even one of the ones that had stolen something from him. That's... Oh wow, that's a lot of enemies. Will we see Plushie? We did not see Plushie doing a whole lot of fighting of these mules. Well, I probably would have while I was on good terrain to do it. With here. She's still got the sword equipped. And, what just happened here? Did I miss something? Did Reven bag the glacier for fear of its health? Is that what happened? Yeah. Oh, this is bad. This is a bad room. At least there's acid rain balls. Or, well, okay, at least there was a charge of acid rain. And maybe Reven will get lucky enough to find another one. We shall see. Now, one thing that Reven will probably need to remember in a couple of floors is there will eventually... Oh yeah! He might have that as an option. That is a good point. I did not see what he used it on. And that would probably be what I would use it on. So fair enough. Yeah, this seems like a good time to use an exit loop. Oop. I hate these floors, but with the spiders. And the pickets aren't formidable if you're willing to play a game with them. In this case, the game can be pick it up and throw it away. Yeah, be sure to check out the community if you haven't already. It's a great place for all things Azure Dreams, not just speedrunning. It has the de-randomizing randomizer, it has more tournament matches, it has the Game Boy Color version of Azure Dreams, if that is your preference in randomized dungeon crawling with monsters. That is a very kind intersection. Ooh, egg. And there are those truth glasses. It's a Garuda egg! Okay! Okay! Reven is now going to be going to hatch this egg very quickly. In this circumstance, I might find a nice place, use that flat scroll, hatch that Garuda egg. Go ham. Garudas can use their abductability to carry you to a random place on the map, and they can do it all day, every day. It is absurd, but it also fundamentally changes the nature of any given run with it. It is Garuda o'clock. I do like the use of the door frame as a way of identifying where monsters are coming and quickly moving to whatever position in that door or way or room would be the most convenient. It's nice. Oof. There's that Garuda. We're gonna see the glacier get put away, and we'll probably never see it again on Reven's side. Garuda runs are mostly very safe, except that they are also very precarious. Also, now that we're no longer relying on the convenient usage of the wind-based mixture magic paralysis effect, we're now just seeing switch to water. That'll protect it from bombs. That'll protect it from most enemies that are going to hurt it by dealing direct damage should something happen. Also, that is a party full of Manoevas, most of which appear to be clones of the first one that Plushie has been wailing on. Oof, that is a lot of monsters coming that way. Luckily, this is the sort of problem with which Garuda, who use the ability to abduct, because the way the de-randomizing randomizer confirms if you are using its programs for something, it changes Ko's trainer class, basically, from tamer to runner, but in the process, the UIs there become on abduct specifically, and presumably other monster abilities, but you only really notice it on abduct, turns that A into a U. But on the other hand, it does still at least produce a legible word, even if that legible word is very silly. Huh. I don't know if the glacier's ice would move a transformed Manoeva, but if you go to the Azure Dreams Discord, you can find this seed in the tournament chat. You can download it. You can run this test for me and report back. I will probably forget it. But no, I'm not sure what would happen with a transformed Manueva. I'm a little afraid to find out. I know that transformed Manuevas can get very weird when things interact with them. Oh, we have already gone so far on Reven's side that we're seeing the floor 25 pickets. Which are related to a very annoying side quest if you're doing something other than going up the tower really, really fast. Which you might be doing for Bookless or 100% maybe. I don't know why. The tower is there for you to go up really fast. Or maybe it's there to eat your face, who knows. Anyway, this would have, if Reven were still running with a glacier, been an interesting floor. Or because there's some wind immune monsters here. And if not on this floor, then on the next one. When we start seeing zoos, yeah, that'll go bad. Also, there are a lot of sleeping monsters over on Reven's side, which is going by very fast, and that inventory is really quite stacked. Yeah, Reven just tosses the Holy Scroll because, why not? At this stage. Yeesh. Also, man, I had forgotten how bad that floor 18 spawn room was. Or could have been had there not been the acid rain ball. Oof, that could have been very scary. Again, Garuda, why do you keep I think Garuda wants it to be a serious race because he keeps putting Reven in the line of danger, in like the sort of situations you don't want to be in a Garuda run, which is being deposited directly next to enemies. Yeah, this is a tricky one. Because obviously if you're Reven, you want to get to the elevator. You don't want to have to, like, go away from the elevator and hope Garuda brings you back somewhere else. But on the other hand, those snowmen can hurt you pretty bad. Yeah, Okay, now what's your plan here, Reven? This is a very weird way of handling this room. And I think that worked. That did at least something. But I'm not sure it really gets a whole lot of job done. And in the end, that was very lucky. That was extremely lucky! Wild! Very weird, folks. Yeah, Here's the fun Beldo-related question, because Reven's about to get to the floor where we have to ask, will Beldo be sleeping? Because while stories that you can sometimes encounter your father's ghost on floor 31 are in fact just rumors of early game facts, and boy, like Mew under the truck. But, Beldo does not show up on floor 31 and on your first time to floor 31. This is when there's a trap room, and the game's code just goes, well, we would put Beldo in, but we've used up our budget. So I guess we're just not putting Beldo in. It's weirdly fitting. Because he is, when you think about it, trying to trap Ko. Beldo is awake, and this also means that it might be time to see if any monsters spawn in, and DamagedPlushie is going to find that Groot egg, but there's about a 10 floor difference here. That's gonna be rough to overcome. Actually, it's now a 12 floor difference. What Plushie is going to have to hope for... Oof. And that's even if Plushie finds out that that's a Groot egg. What Plushie is gonna have to really be hoping for here, not that she knows this, but we can hope for and with her, is something bad happens to end Reven's Garuda run. This has the potential to be like that. Oh, that's fun. That is a fun use of the flat scroll. Basically, what just happened, for those of you at home, is that all the monsters were in a room and therefore knew where Reven was exactly and were coming for him. And now they're no longer in a room, despite nothing about the floor having changed other than that they've stopped being walls. They're now no longer in a room, and it's a decent bit safer. And now Reven is onward and upward. There goes 34 into 35. This might be this might not last much longer. Yeah, looks like Reven is saying... What? This is so interesting. Now Garuda can abduct and also use its mixture mat and also paralyze. That's a really fun approach. Now, I would be very afraid of dragons sniping it, but like, other than that, that's a very fun set of opportunities here. Oh yeah, other glaciers are now wind, so they're pretty safe to be using fire and elemental spells on to get some juicy late game EXP and remove problems. Oof. This is one of the few things that could be really scary for Reven right now. In general, any traps can complicate a Garuda run. Because they're something unexpected. And anything unexpected on a Garuda run is bad. Oops. Bump Trap did something, folks! Not much, but it did something.
This is an interesting time to start doing inventory management. Yeah, now that Reven's gotten a decent sense of the floor's layout. Yeah, oops, that's something dangerous, and it'll be a little bit difficult to be using a safe abduction strategy on the or with the Garuda. This is probably where I just hit abduct, frankly. Particularly because that dragon. Oh, that's an unpleasant room. Yeah. This is where we. Oh no. Oh, that could have gone very bad. That could have been the nightmare scenario. Where the heck is the last room? And why does it keep sending him back to that room? Hey, wait, what happened to the Garuda egg? Did DamagedPlushie leave it behind? Okay. Looks like Plushie's not sure quite what to do with it. You could use the truth glass. You could use the truth glass. She did come across it, I believe, but did not immediately hatch it. So this might be a different egg. This might be the aqua blue egg. She might have used it as an egg bomb. If so, that hurts. That must hurt a lot. Yeah, okay. So we finally get to the room with the elevator in it on Reven's side. Really not gonna use it on the egg, huh? The egg. Oh well. We will have to ask which egg this is, and GG, Reven take it. That means that Reven has won this round. We'll see if Plushie wins a friendly third, or if we'll be going to interviews with folks today. I do not know what this chat is currently indicating in terms of what the game plan is for friendly third, interview, etc. Okay, looks like we're gonna be getting a third. I will be running and getting a drink. And then we'll be getting us set up for a friendly third.
Hello, is everybody hydrated? We will hopefully be getting DamagedPlushie reset and ready to go in just a moment. Now, we have seen some pretty fun corners of Azure Dreams. So I think for this next step, what I'm hoping to see is something fairly ordinary. Or something very annoying. Which means that I'm either hoping for the area of effect mixture magic, or like a sword mixture magic, and just see these runners run under close to ordinary conditions. Maybe not as good as ordinary conditions, in which case maybe a troll. Has been decided. We will hopefully be seeing a friendly third. No stakes, just tower climbing for all the folks at home. And for the runners themselves, just have a little bit of fun. And I suspect Plushie is also getting a drink as I was just a moment ago. Well, what monsters would y'all like to see? These will be starting with any monster in the game, pretty much. Except maybe be the monster you get for beating the game. That causes some issues under some circumstances, and is a little weird anyway. I saw that Plushie had started typing something in chat, so hopefully that will happen soon. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, by the way, while we're in sort of a lull between the first two rounds and our friendly third, be sure to come check out our Discord and our community. We have a few more matches left in this race, in this tournament. We're getting down to the wire, folks. Excuse me. And I'm looking forward to what the rest of it will bring. Also, be sure to give both of our runners a follow. Plushie under the name of Raise the Unbred. I think DamagedPlushie has another another Twitch for unrace related things, but maybe I'm misremembering. Now, where did my pop-up window go? There we go. Okay, I will make sure Plushie has seen that the seed has been checked and is indeed good. Is there anything we'd like to see for the starting spell ball? Because the monster one is the question we ask all the time. Monsters do change a lot of the meta of what you are doing, why, where, and when. There's some options based on the spell ball, and do we think Reven, who has not yet taken advantage of the barong on the first floor, will Reven change his mind now that the stakes are significantly lower and he's playing with basically house money? Check. Looks like Plushie has seen that the seed is indeed good. We'll be getting the name in. We'll be getting rolling. It's a Plushie versus Plush matchup today, apparently, folks. We don't have a co-commentator today. I'm going to consult my little monster booklet for what it thinks they will be playing with today. Third match, little monster booklet of index cards says Golem. We will be getting them counted down and they will be underway.
I would like it noted that apparently what I have written down in terms of notes for the golem, because before the very first random toolkit tournament, I went through the trouble of making a little notebook full of all the monsters and, like, what I thought I needed to know about them to use them as a familiar. What I have written for golem is big tank. Tank. Ink. And that the fire mixture magic is a 7x7, but the water and wind go from area of effect to 1 range in the hall. Yeah, my notes aren't wrong about anything. I just find it funny when I write weird notes. Oh, it's because I don't put that on I didn't bother putting that on other tanky monsters. I think I just must have felt like that mattered. Ooh, speaking of monsters that are big tank, we have the block that Reven will not be picking up. Reven is going for the glitched entry to skip the starting familiar just for the swag of it. Assuming he gets it, there we go. He will be skipping meeting the monster on the bridge, which we know now is a block. That has a double defense growth, but it requires an herb that does not exist now that I think about it. Like, it is not an herb you can find regularly to restore lowered defense, so that'll take a water crystal and... Oh, egg is unidentified. That means it is a Cune or an evolved monster. Yeah, looks like Reven is just going familiarless for the fun of it, so we'll have some fun seeing these strats play out and how they will differ. I think we'll expect to see Reven get off to an early lead, but have a much less reliable time of it. And it's a Cune! Is this even randomized? I'd probably just fuse the block into the Cune. Get that double defense. Get a reliable and steady mixture magic. Looks like Plushie's not going to be playing Casino. No. You know what? Fair, actually. The spell ball's good, the shield's pretty good, the fire sword has effectively the same increase as a wand when you're using fire mixture magic, like Cune has. Or like Cune has normally, but this fella's gonna be a little bit different. And we'll see if Plushie decides to switch, or if the novelty of having something that's not Cune will carry the day. What I will say is that Aqua Wheel is hungry for MP. That mixture magic burns it like nuts, and that means it's not terribly effective as a long-term approach. Meanwhile, Reven, he has not had to approach to the trolls. I feel like he's probably at least a little comfortable running familiar list, but this situation requires a bit more finesse. So the fire sword is at least a good sword. Reasonably good, anyway. For a little while. And that's probably all the time Reven needs to be doing damage with a sword. Now, one thing Reven does not have that would be very useful to feel confident in is a reliable source of damaging enemies to get rid of them and to gain a lot of EXP very quickly. If you're running at any percent familiarless, if you're trying to go for that faster time from skipping Kuhn and his tutorials and his yada 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 and his calling your house a filthy hovel, because he is a little jerk and don't you forget it. And what you will be using is taking that starting fire spell ball and trying to get as much EXP out of it as possible, which mostly means waiting for a Garuda, probably. Maybe a clown, if you're desperate. But in an ideal world, you'd be picking a Garuda. Reven doesn't have the assurance that that's going to materialize. And so the early levels Reven is getting here going to be important ones, I think. She has already caught up the difference between dealing damage, fighting things often versus often letting things walk by. I know Reven is putting on enough speed to keep the lead going for a little bit longer. One thing we'll probably see more of than we do usually is Reven using all those swords he's picking up to just chuck them at the enemy's face for a little extra damage. The blocks have little ears. I think that is very important to their general design aesthetic. And so I am sad that their evolved form, the metal, does not have little spiky cat ears. Boo hiss. Very sad. Other design aesthetic details that I find very cute. I like the Nathlases and their grumpy cat old man face. Looks like it should be calling me a whippersnapper out of 10. There's something about the Manaweaver's face that, although it has no particular charm, I nevertheless find a little bit charming. Unicorns would be cute if they weren't unicorns. Like, if they weren't called that and made me wish that there was a more unicorny monster in the game, I would probably like them because they've got like a happy little smile. This has been Assorted Monster Reviews. Pickets are very cute. I will say this on Shawnee's behalf. Very cute. Little clowns. The clowns are also little clowns. It's great. Ooh, just the right timing to get out of that U-boat's way. Very nicely done, but that's... Yeah, this is the part of the tower where I start feeling bad if I don't have a familiar. Which, come to that, it's also the part of the tower where, like, the game intends for you to start feeling kinda bad about it. About how strong the enemies are and about how much you can take. Reven, luckily getting to dance safely to the elevator. If that U-boat had pincered him, it could have gone fairly bad. Ooh, that is a room. Yeah, if I were Reven, I would also just be getting out of the room. And yeah, there still isn't, for example, a fireball, which is gonna be a problem in a couple of floors. Or when he's going to really be wanting that EXP that you would get from, say, a Garuda that you can just hit with a fireball. Luckily, hopefully Reven wakes up before anything else arrives. Because while the Dreamin' isn't likely to end the run, anything else could while he's asleep. Okay, so this is a dicey stretch because those guys are nasty. Griffins are surprisingly tough. Not the spell ball Reven was hoping for. Not by a long shot. While it can put in decent enough work if you have a familiar, if you don't, it's kind of just a shiny glass bauble. Yeah, that would be a great bag of EXP, if only. If only. Reven has not been getting good pickup luck today, I gotta say, and... Oh, there's more Garudas coming his way. You're at least coming down that hallway. Oh, I did not realize quite how close that elevator was. Meanwhile, Reven really does not have a lot of resources for dealing. Let's see what that egg is. It's just a Dreamin'. But that's enough to take out that mule, which at least lets him get out of the room. That is one problem he does not have to deal with immediately. Well, okay, one problem he got out of dealing with, but he is so fragile. Level 7, that's so fragile. It's not the lowest level I've seen people on this floor at. He did a good bit of fighting early on, but it's still not ideal. Also, that's a problem. Oh, we're seeing the fire crystal, the most questionable of crystals. It isn't incapable of doing work, but it does have its problems. Okay, hopefully that mule will stay out of that, will get out of that room, not go back his way. Go on up. Worth noting, Reven did decurse the leather shield, so he's got that going for him. And we're seeing Plushie explore this floor that Reven just sort of breezed past. That inventory is looking pretty good for this floor, and for the setup Plushie has going. A lot of this is spare weapons and shields, mind you, so that could be better. But there is that flame ball, so the problem Reven is having where he can't get an EXP refill is just not a problem for Plushie. On the flip side, though, Reven is going faster, which is more or less typical of the different runs they're on. Ooh. Throwing pickets is that they're like little boomerangs, but in the worst way. They just come right back to you, unfortunately under their own power. Yeah, Reven is getting up onto the coins so that if he needs to, the picket will steal the coins and not his valuable inventory. Plushie? Plushie, are you forgetting your block? I think Plushie just might have realized abruptly, oh wait, the block, yeah, the block. Not so much, oh, what do I do here? Because, like, that was not an, oh, what do I do here? But it was a, oh, that's awkward. I'd forgotten that I'd forgotten it. Sort of moment, I think, if I'm reading sort of the camera turns right. Oof, that could be very bad. Yeah, that is a lot of HP gone in one shot. He does at least have a lot of binding ball charges. That is what Reven has going for him in this scenario, and the floor lead. Actually, one thing about this situation that, in particular, Revenant is in, the situation Plushie is in is, oof, that's a situation Plushie is in. That is a lot of monsters. With a water elemental spell, that does have elemental advantage against most enemies Plushie is dealing with in this moment. The disadvantage is that, for all its expense, outside of a room, its range is not area of effect, actually. It's more or less one range around you, sort of like an acid rain ball. In a room, it's great. In a hallway, it's less great and expensive. Meanwhile, Reven is caught between some spiders. That's unpleasant. He does at least have those binding balls, but... oh, that's a pickup that I don't think he can afford to miss much. This is gonna be Kuhn, tossed into the spiders. And oh, this is another problem. Reven really does not have the space or hitboxes to deal with. Interesting choice to use the binding ball that he doesn't know how many uses it has. That's most of Reven's damage dealing options or monster disposing options completely gone. There's the acid rain ball, and there's the binding ball, which will help while monsters can still be picked up. True, he does know he hasn't used the minimum 4 yet. The gap is still pretty big, but it is getting narrower, as Plushie is able to deal with more situations in general. Yeah, Reven really should be using that medicinal herb if he only had the time. This is a rough floor. At least this will get him some EXP. That'll help with the frailty a decent bit. But it does mean now all he has is binding balls. Yeah, 4 levels is a pretty useful, pretty handy thing. We see that Plushie is at about the same level, but has also spent more time fighting things directly. This is where I'd probably just use the flame ball on DamagedPlushie's side. It's an option, it's a good option. Also, guess it's time to feed an egg to that block. Water Crystal now means that, the block is now very tanky now that it's had its defense recovered. Meanwhile, Reven's going to have to think of a way out of this wee dog. While it can... Yeah, that just restored the block's defense and MP at the same time. It is now a tanky boy. Unfortunately, it's a tanky boy in a doorway. It might not have... If Plushie had stayed paralyzed, that could have been very bad. That could have been a septic special. Yeah, even unicorns, which are not the most formidable enemies, are pretty damaging. Are two-shotting Reven, it looks like. That's not pleasant, that's pretty scary. And you've also got to think, in a couple of floors there's gonna be stealth. A failed pickup could very well be the end in that sort of situation. And now Reven's walking around without being able to see where he's going while carrying a monster. Yeah, that could have gone so much better had the hallway not been very slightly weird. That's the technical term. One might also use askew. That plump is gonna come in very handy on Reven's side. It's almost as weak as Ko is. Sorry, Ko. No, I'm not sorry. And it's considerably a better deterrent from enemies than Ko would be. He can even fight one if he wants to. Oh, Block got backed over on Plushie's side. Interesting. Funky. Ooh. Man, Reven's inventory is so slim by this point. If he's lucky, maybe he can plump it out. But things are gonna get a little bit... But things are pretty close to the margins there. Oh, this could be very bad. This could be very bad. Zoos are, especially when you're alone, very scary things. The binding ball won't work. There's yeah, this is okay, I guess it's fire crystal time. Spawning in a dead-end room is one of the worst signs. It's because it means it's probably a two-room... Probably a two-room floor, or maybe a three-room or something like that, but basically everything not in the room with you is probably heading towards you. And anything that you defeat, or that rather, this, Salamander, what were you doing? That was sad. This is sad, the situation Reven's in. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh Unfortunately, he didn't stay paralyzed, but this isn't much better. Now he just... Oh, just barely. Just barely made it out of that floor. Oh dear. Luckily, the block is pretty alright by itself, honestly. That defense means that, not a lot's going to scare it. Plushie is more vulnerable than the block is. Now, Reven has to figure out how to get past this situation, just in general, yeah. Up, and there Reven goes, down on floor 25. Or 26, rather. Their Plushie will have to make it to floor 27, then to take the friendly third. But I think it's fairly possible. Oof. Block's HP... Yeah, if he had found the flame ball, that would have gone so much better. Block is running fairly low on health. It's down. Plushie is now going to have to make it the rest of the way on her own. She does have a bit better stocked inventory than Reven had at this point, but it's fairly close margins. Either way. The difference between them is fairly slight. Oh, looks like... No, Reven has just clipped into the floor. Just clipping into the floor and hanging out there. Why not? And yeah, things would have gone much better had Reven just had that flame ball. Of such little differences can Azure dreams be made. Actually, I should switch music. So we'll be following now the second familiar list, but not completely familiar list. This run of this match. Not the sand I think Plushie might have been hoping for. Now that her inventory is more or less some spell balls. And a fire crystal, which did not put in a whole lot of work on Reven's side. Unfortunately, recovery is not even a very good scouting ball. It's just a sad little pup of soap. Oh. Don't you love it when the game reminds you of things it would have been nice for you to have at an earlier point when you had a familiar? Okay, is Plushie gonna try and go for the pickup? Not getting the most damaged Plushie luck. Impossible with it. At least she's up out of this floor. It's only a few more to go. while she is taking this, I would say, a very slowly and methodically, and I think that's that's a pretty good idea, given how, like, narrow her margins are here. It is worth noting that if you're near an enemy, the game will stop you from moving full speed. Or moving higher than regular speed, going quickly. And that does have its advantages as a form of danger detection. Ooh, seeing the fire crystal come out. It is, unfortunately, probably going to, just zoom off having basically taken care of one problem. But it's not a terrible problem to have had taken care of. Here's 25. This is just this floor and the next floor that Plushie has to take care of to make her way through in order to get to the final floor. We know from Reven's run that taking care of that particular monster was about half the battle. The other half is this block coming up, and that flame ball does mean that this is that is now out of charges. That's less than ideal. Malicious? Okay. I think I'd maybe, when I get a little bit closer, try malicious, but okay. Oh yeah, blocks are water. I completely forgot. Now, I'm not entirely sure what Plushie's plan for this scenario is. Because she's run out of space to bait it. And Cune's only going to last, like, 1 second. The Scorch Shield will not... Okay, that's a source of damage. Unfortunately, this approach has not... Plushie. Okay. This is very silly. Just barely. I might have kept it in case I found a white sand. But now, the problem is that while this strategy functioned for a second, yeah, that ice shield is not helping you. Not doing you any favors there. Yep. Oh, very lucky. The luck, folks. That was very fortunate. Unfortunately, there's now, more zoos. This might be where... Would you try AI1? You can pick Cune up and move him around. That's very useful, but... If Plushie keeps retreating, that's not going to work given how shaped this floor is. Well, this is sure. This is very calculated. Kuhn's getting a lot of EXP. It's now an okay back at familiar. This is the world we're in, folks. This is the world we're in. Luckily, this all worked out pretty well. This was very nicely calculated. This was very lucky. Yeah, basically, this is about as much spell EXP or like spell bonus damage that level can give Kuhn. And that's great. This situation's still rather dicey, and oof, that hurt. Time to be very careful and hopefully very lucky, but if she can get off this floor, there we go! Plushie takes the friendly third! We'll let her know and we will get her into for the interviews. Okay. Those were quite some matches. Get some questions. Ending. That was some very clever and very careful movement. Hello, Reven.
Hey,
Then GG.
thank you. Thanks for covering the match solo. Appreciate it a lot.
No problem. Blum, those were some speeds, and that was quite the ending.
Yeah, it was kind of abrupt on my end anyway. It had not been looking good for
No.
the last 3 or 4 floors, and I was really stretching it thin. And you know, I named myself Plushie, and because I knew I was going with the commando entrance, and was relying on my lift luck. Lift and chuck like Plushie's known for, and it worked for a little while, but it kind of sputtered out there. That curse really didn't help at all.
Nah. I was so impressed, Plushie, with how you finished that friendly third. Those were some really carefully calculated stall tactics. And also, so the monster was a block. It was a water block, Reven.
Yeah, I
Reven
found
went
out it
commando.
was a block. Yeah, I found out it was a block. I thought it was fire. I really didn't expect the fire crystal to do 8 to a water block. But yeah, that caught me a little off guard. Something was wrong when it didn't die in a couple hits. So.
But it died around floor, I want to say 23, 24.
Yeah,
Right, it died basically right before that basically straight line of a floor. And Plushie, she switched to Kuhn.
It was so silly.
It was very silly, but it worked.
I didn't really have anything else to work with, so
Yeah.
just attempting. So
It
power
worked.
leveling and poison ball.
Oh.
Nobody
You
uses
didn't bait
poison ball.
Really?
I power leveled it to like, I don't know, 12 or something. You know that one room hallway type situation? There was another one where you're in the end of the hallway in the next floor. So I sacrificed him in the next one though. Oh my gosh.
But
It
yeah,
was very
you do
silly.
that one. And let me
Yeah.
think.
I was
Oh.
getting bullied by spiders on my last seed. I think I ended up throwing my Cune at, I think it was a spider towards the end.
I hit a warp trap and lost my block. I tried to save him, but I pretty much just used resources.
Mhm. Well, that is what they were there for, and it brought you to that one.
I'm curious about what happened in the first seed. That caught me by surprise.
What not to do in a tower.
Maybe that from my perspective, it struck me more as a bad confluence of trap. First a poison
Oh,
trap
okay.
to get the HP down nice and low, and then after the poison wore off, but before Plushie's HP had recovered, slam trap.
Oh, I think I know the room you're talking about too.
It was 2 rooms. I was like, I should have used one of the 2 trap loots we had, but it was greed. I was like, I'll use these a little bit higher when I have to deal with U-boats, and it was like, nope. I'm like,
HP
oh
will
my gosh.
probably recover before anything dangerous happened. That is the thing we all wish would happen.
I made noises. It was most unpleasant. Like, well. And then the next seed, I did something extra dumb too, but by the time I found it anyway, it would have been too late. I might have forgotten what floors you can find Garuda on.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a pretty late Garuda egg.
It was like, I think it was floor 20 actually. I had the truth glasses laying around if I happened to find an egg on one of those floors, and it just.
Yeah, I threw it.
Oh, okay.
I pretty much just associated Garuda egg with like the yellow floors and not the green ones, but the first green one lets you have a Garuda possibly too, so yeah, I threw that and I made noises again. But it was also late and I'm like, well, I'm learning a lot with Glacier this round because that's my first time playing with the boom electric magic that makes everything paralyzed.
Yeah, I had fun
That
with that
stuff's
too.
cool.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pretty fun. The Glacier was unique in that you can like stun and then just kick them away if you really wanted to. It's MP heavy, but if you know, it's
We
good
had
in
so many
pinch.
Peter Fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Reven fuse the glacier into the Garuda, presumably to make to have just one more little resource in. I'm guessing.
It was kind of I switched to Garuda water immediately because you don't want it. Traditionally, you don't want it to be wind climbing because of the traps and whatnot. But when I got up to the higher, they're like very like we say griffins are trigger happy. Like glaciers are trigger happy.
They
And I
are.
didn't need a wind glacier sniping my Garuda, my water Garuda out of nowhere, so I just fused it to get back to wind. I figure I'd
Makes
risk
sense.
the dragon breath because it's a lot less common to be hit by breath than it is an ice block out of nowhere.
Yeah, let me see if I can think of anything else. I feel like that second seed was very generous.
It was.
Oh, there was so many spell balls. Yeah, it was super generous. The
Yeah, I
third
needed to
one,
use
I
the
just
spell ball
had
sooner.
I don't think I found a single spell ball the entire third seed.
You found a binding ball, a second
Oh, no,
binding ball.
that's right. I did find a second binding ball. That's that was about the extent of it. I started off the first 5 pretty good, and then that was about all the resources I found until 26, I think. It was
Well,
kind
she
of
found a flame ball in floor mate, and we were thinking, Chat and I were thinking that had you found that, things might have gone very differently, but it was more or less out of juice by the time Plushie really needed it.
yeah, having a fireball or something would have made the zoos manageable without. Yeah, I think 25 I ended up getting away with 1 HP. after being caught between a zoo and I think it was a block, getting paralyzed and whatnot, and then getting the lucky lift. That wouldn't have really been an issue if I had a spell ball. Now the 26 and the blocks and whatnot that were pushing in on me still probably would have been an issue to be dealt with. But I feel like it definitely would have been a completely different seed.
It was definitely not a commando-friendly seed with the 2 dead-end hallways that you start in.
Oh yeah, those.
It was very rude.
They sucked up everything I had.
You both did very well, and I would like to thank you both for putting on a great show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Folks,
having
be sure
us.
to check out our bracket and be sure to give the runners a follow. Oh, and thank you to the folks at SpeedGaming. I think that about covers it, yes?
I think so.
GG,
Alrighty.
Reven. Thank you, Demi. Thank you, SpeedGaming.
Alright. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.